On October 11th, 1831, some 12 years after the Peterloo massacre in Manchester, England, and 11 years after the Scottish insurrection of 1820, a young Scottish family from Glasgow stood on the docks of the River Mersey at Liverpool, England, ready to embark on the ship Marion and sail to New York City. This family was the first direct line in my Lachlan family that would leave the old world for the new, first settling in Adams, Massachusetts, where Robert became a naturalized citizen on the 26th of February, 1839, before eventually setting their roots in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania around 1850. Robert Lachlan was the father, 28 years old, and by trade a weaver. His wife Margaret, maiden name Little, was then just 25, and their two children were Mary George, 5 years old, and Samuel, just 1 year old. Samuel is my great-great-grandfather, and he would later marry Catherine Irvine from St. John, New Brunswick. Catherine's parents were born in Ireland and emigrated to British North America in 1830. Catherine was their first child, born in 1832. Though we cannot prove it, we believe Samuel met Catherine sometime after he had enlisted in the U.S. Navy on 19 November 1855. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, so let's go back to the birthplace of Robert Lachlan II. His father was also Robert, and learn a wee bit about the history of Lochwinnoch and its weavers. My name is Susan Lachlan Hillier, and today is June 24th, 2026. I'm standing in St. John's Church graveyard in the oldest part of Lochwinnoch. This area is also called John's Hill, and it was part of the original old town of Lochwinnoch. Originally, this church was called St. Winnoch's Church, but after the Scottish Reformation in 1560, it became known as St. John's Kirk. As you can see on the lintel, the date is 1729. After the new parish church in Lochwinnoch was built in 1808, just a few blocks from here, this older church was going to be knocked down. Only because of protests from the local weavers, the gable end and its original clock was left standing. The clock still functions thanks to local volunteers, and it is quite likely that Robert Lachlan II, born on the 7th of June, 1803, and baptized the 12th of June, received his baptism on these very grounds almost 225 years ago, and would have walked by this clock until 1824, when he married Margaret Little on the 30th of November, 1824, in Gorbals, Lanarkshire, Scotland, a town just 20 miles east of Lochwinnoch and only 9 miles away from Paisley.